So I'm just going to put this at the front of the video because I forgot to mention it at the beginning. Always remember when you're jacking up and jacking a vehicle up on the floor, always remember to use axle stands all the time. So jack the vehicle up and put that axle stands under the correct places just in case the jack fails. I've seen jacks fail in the past and it's not pretty. So it's never caught me out because I've always used axle stands. So just make sure you use them as a safety precaution. And also once you finish the job, always make sure you pump the brake pedal. When you do any work on brakes, make sure you pump the brake pedal before you take the vehicle out, because you'll find that you need to replace that space between the brake pad and the brake piston and the piston on the caliper. If you don't do that, the first time you touch the brake, it's just going to go straight to the floor and you're probably going to end up going into something, crashing into something. So just when you get back in the vehicle, just pump the brake pedal up and then you're good to go. So I'm just off on a road test now just to make sure that that this job's done correctly. Always road test the jobs when you're finished as well. You'll see this at the front. I was going to put it at the back, but there's no point telling you about axle stands when the job's been done. So that's what this bit's for. Hello everyone, morning. Well, morning. Oh, it's a cold morning. It's about -3 this morning when I got to work. That's why I'm all wrapped up. But anyway, like we said on our welcome to the channel, I did say I was going to show you some van maintenance, not only just on our van, but obviously I'm in the motor trade. So I've got this Transit in today, big Transit. Can't get on the ramp. I hate putting these big things on the ramp because I've only got a 2-poster. It is a 4-ton ramp, but I don't like putting these on, so I just crack on the floor. It's a lot easier for me. But it's in for some distant pads. Let me just flip the camera around and I'll show you. So today we're going to replace these distant pads because they're absolutely, look at that, they're down to the metal almost on the brake pad indicator. It's only got one indicator on. I've not done the other side, but normally the brake pad indicator goes there. And if you see, look how low they are, and you can see how ropey those discs are. So we won't, on the inside, they look fine from the outside, but on the inside we won't want to put brand new pads on there because it's just going to wreck the pads, the new pads, and they're going to sound awful. So what we do to start with, we need to push these pistons back. There's 2 pistons on these because they're big brake calipers. So what we do is we push them pistons back, that brake pad. I'll do it now and then I'll come back to you and show you what it is. And you just can use a screwdriver if you want, or you can take the caliper off and you can use some big grips to push the pistons back. But I prefer to push the pistons back, if I can, with a big screwdriver to try and get that piston back so we can make room for the new pads. So give me a sec and I'll come back. Right, so crack that off. I had to use a ratchet like I did on the other side. Just cracked it off with a long reach ratchet. Just take the one bolt out, you see? Yeah. I have to put some more grips on there just to hold the slider. Right, to stop that from spinning. So what we do is we lift that up. I don't know if I can do it with one hand again, but look, see? What happens is, there we go, we release the slider. Yeah, so you don't have to undo both bolts. So we put that to one side. Alright, make sure it doesn't dangle too much on the brake part, so we don't want to damage that. Then what you need to do is you need to take off the caliper carrier, which is these two big 21mm bolts. There's one at the top, one at the bottom, just there, just behind the brake pad. Yeah, we're going to undo those. Let's see if I can do it again live without having to pause. Get them. It's difficult trying to video on your own. So we get the impact going on because so yeah, basically you take those out, take both of those out. Sorry, I keep going over the camera. And that'll then 2 seconds. yeah, it's difficult doing this, trying to video. I'll come back to you when I've got it off, and then I can explain that. Right, so I've took both those bolts out, the caliper carriers off. Alright, next stage. Right, these are a little bit different to your average brake pad, brake disc, sorry. Right, so let me just show you these pads. Look at those pads, look. Hold on, finger on the camera again. Look how thin they are. Yeah, look how they're grooved. Now if I put a new pad next to it, we'll show you a new pad. That's the difference. Yeah. So imagine me trying to put that pad disc back on that pad back on that disc. You're not going to get a brake pedal till it's worn down to that groove like that. So right, the next stage is, I mean, we only use quality parts, so I'll blueprint. So the next stage is each of these holes here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That just behind there is a T50. Sorry, the light's gone. There's T50 bolts in there that you've got to undo. So what we do is we get T50 in there, locate. If you look just behind, you'll be able to see where the bolt holes are, or the bolts. If you look just behind the disc, you can see where they're mounted. Look, see where the bits stick out, that's where the bolts are. So we just line that up. Yeah, always give it a tap with an hammer, because you don't want to round these off. You round these off, you'll be there all day trying to get these out, I can assure you. If you want to, you can crack them off first with a breaker bar, but I'm pretty confident. I've been in the trade a long time. I'm pretty confident I'm not going to round these off, but to do it correctly, I would crack them off. One out. So we do that. There's 5 of them. So see if I can get one out. Sometimes they come all the way out, sometimes they don't. So we get one out. So that's it. That's holding the wheel bearing in. Yeah. So I'm going to take all 5 of these out, and then I'm going to hit it with the hammer to release the bearing out the hub, and then I'll show you the next stage. So once you've undone those bolts, I don't know if I mentioned it, but they're 13mm bolt heads. So yeah, they can be very tight. So yeah, just be careful on doing those, you don't round them off. So that obviously sits in there with the bolts holding onto there to hold the disc on. So we take that out, that's hub and the wheel bearing there. We don't need to do anything with that because there's nothing wrong with that, but if you was to change the wheel bearing, you'd have to grind and cut that off and then press the new one on. In fact, these ones look like they come complete with the hub now. These are the new type ones, I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, you'd have to cut that off normally. So that's a disc, people. Look at the state of that. And that is why we're changing them. We can't put new pads on that. It's ready for pads, but we can't put new pads on that. So that's why we're replacing them. So I'm just going to clean this up so it's nice and clean, get some copper grease around it, and then I'm going to get the new disc, get it put back on there, get it put back on the hub, and then we're going to get it back on there, and I'll come back to you when I've shown you that. So there we go, that's all back on. Make sure as well that you clean this surface, the brake surface, both sides. I'll do it once I've finished work on it. There's no point doing it now because you might just get oil on it again, my dirty hands. So just make sure you clean that off with something, is because they do come with some like machine oil on, just to prevent them from corroding while they're in storage. So yeah, so what you need to do now is clean both sides of that. Once you've put the brake caliper, so you just put everything back in reverse order. So the caliper carrier goes back on, put your brake pads in, and then your caliper back on. Make sure you copper slip your brake pads. You want a bit of copper grease on both of these edges, and some on there and some on there, just to stop the anti-vibrate, just to stop it from vibrating, stop from squeaking basically, and it helps them to move properly. So yeah, and that's about it really. So make sure everything's tight. These bolts here, make sure you tighten those up in a sequential order, evenly, nice and even, so you don't end up putting it in off center and uneven. Once they're tightened, go round them again and double check them. You can put some Loctite on the bolts as well. I've used Loctite on both these bolts and the bolts for the wheel bearing. And yeah, and then that's about it. So get your caliper carry-on, pads in, brake caliper on, and then your wheel on, and you're done. And these are probably one of the, well, they're not straightforward to do these discs. Not like a normal car. These van discs, these transits are a little bit different to do. So I just thought I'd do a little video. I get everybody doesn't want to see these videos, but some people might be interested. So that's why I bothered to do it, and it puts a bit content out there onto our page, onto our channel. So yeah, I might come back to you when I've completed it. Right, that's it. Road test complete. Job's a good one. Drive's all fine. Spot on. It's always worth noting as well, when you first change discs and pads, the other thing to remember is that when they're brand new, they're going to take a bit of bedding in. So they're probably going to feel a bit strange for the first 50 to 100 mile, and then they should be bedded in spot on by then. So don't panic if you feel a bit strange to start off with. So yeah, that's it for this one, I think, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I know it's not what everybody wants to watch, but I'm just putting it out there just so you know, you can see what we do, see what I do. And for me now, it's to make a cup of coffee and on to the next job. So looking at it, that's about it for today. It started to snow, look, it's snowing. So right, just to finish this off here, you've seen me do the brakes on the Transit today. Just a little thing, we're going, you might see a bit of an adventure this weekend. We're off, we've not got the girls this weekend, so we're off up to, I believe, somewhere near Darlington. My oldest son Ellis, he's got a hockey match in Bellingham on Sunday, so we thought we might go away Saturday night and find somewhere a little bit in the sticks somewhere, because we love wild camping, as you can see. We might find a little pub stop. Hopefully they've got a little lump of fire going off, and we can make a few videos from there. But other than that, I think we're about done for the week. I've got a few bits in tomorrow, and then it's the weekend. I don't like working Fridays if you can help it, or don't like working all day Friday, because I like to get away in that on a Friday. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, because every other weekend we have the kids, so we're limited to what we can do most weekends. Well, every other weekend we normally generally try to do things with the kids, and then when every other weekend me and Kerry can just trot off and do what we want to do. So anyway, it's a bit cold today, you can see. So yeah, I'm going to try and get the kettle on and try to get warm a little bit.